Talitha cum, which means, little girl, I say to you, get up.
Her faith was rewarded, and immediately her bleeding stopped.
It was me. I believed if I touched your cloak, I would be healed.
In the Gospel of Mark chapter 5, we find the moving story of Jairus, a synagogue leader whose 12-year-old daughter was gravely ill. Jairus, despite his status, was helpless in the face of his daughter's suffering. Desperate for a miracle, he sought out Jesus, believing that he alone could save her. Pushing through the crowded streets, Jairus finally reached Jesus and fell at his feet.
My little daughter is dying. Please come and lay your hands on her so she will be healed and live.
Moved by his faith, Jesus agreed to go with Jairus. However, the journey was slow as a large crowd pressed around them. As they walked, a woman who had suffered from a bleeding condition for 12 years reached out to touch Jesus's cloak, believing she would be healed. Her faith was rewarded, and immediately her bleeding stopped. Jesus, aware that power had gone out from him, turned and asked, "Who touched him?" Trembling, the woman came forward.
It was me. I believed if I touched your cloak, I would be healed.
Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace.
Meanwhile, Jairus' worst fears came true. Messengers arrived from his house with heartbreaking news. His daughter had died.
Your daughter is dead. There's no need to bother the teacher anymore.
At that moment, Jairus' hope began to fade. But Jesus turned to him and said,
Don't be afraid. Just believe.
With those words, Jairus held on to a thread of faith as they continued toward his home. Upon arrival, the house was filled with mourners. The wailing was loud, and the scene was chaotic. But Jesus silenced them all.
Why all this commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but asleep.
The crowd laughed, certain the girl had passed away. Ignoring their disbelief, Jesus took only Jairus, his wife, and 3 of his disciples into the room where the girl lay. Taking her by the hand, Jesus spoke with authority.
Talitha cum, which means, little girl, I say to you, get up.
To the amazement of all, the girl immediately stood up and began walking around. Her parents were overwhelmed with joy and disbelief.
She's alive. She's really alive.
Jesus instructed them to give the girl something to eat and asked them to keep the miracle private. However, the story of Jairus' faith and his daughter's healing would spread, reminding everyone that with Jesus, even death can be overcome. The story of Jairus' daughter teaches us that in moments of fear and despair, Jesus calls us to believe, showing that faith can lead to extraordinary outcomes, even when all hope seems lost. This miraculous story of Jairus and his daughter serves as a powerful reminder of the boundless possibilities that faith in Jesus can unlock. Even in the face of death, Jesus called Jairus to hold on to hope, showing that faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Just as Jairus witnessed his daughter's resurrection, we too are invited to trust in Jesus during our most desperate moments. In times of fear and despair, when all hope seems lost, Jesus reassures us, don't be afraid, just believe. Through this story, we are reminded that faith is not just about believing in miracles. It's about trusting in the one who holds the power to perform them. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Soulful Bible Stories for more amazing Bible stories.